Hello and welcome to A Quest for Metal. Today we are ranking all of Cannibal Corpse's albums from what I think is the weakest to what I think is the best, and this is in no means a definitive list. Just like all the fucking rankings we do on YouTube, no one's opinion's right, but also everyone's opinion is right. I know, it's a bit fickle, but that's how we're going to go, and if you get triggered by some of my picks, which you probably will for this one, just tell me what your favourite Cannibal Corpse album is in the comments below, what's your favourite Cannibal Corpse song, and all that good stuff. So with that shit out of the way, let's get started. So my least favourite album, which I still really enjoy, is The Wretched Spawn. There is nothing inherently wrong with this record. It is a standard death metal affair, with Corpse Grinder at the leads, which I love Corpse Grinder. I really do. Sometimes I think he's better than Chris Barnes, but on this one, none of the songs really jump out. None of the songs really jump out for me, which is why it's the tail end of the list. There is some good tracks on here, but there's no, standouts for me. Frantic Disembowelment is cool. Decency Defiled is a nice kind of groove to it. But nothing is there's no, standout, amazing song. There's no I Will Kill You, or Fucked With a Knife, or all these other songs that I can remember. This album is just one that I just don't remember. But when I put it on, it's still an enjoyable time. So it may be last on the list, but it's still a good listen. That's how good Cannibal Corpse is. Now, second to last, this is the album that will cause some controversy. Butchered at Birth. I'm not a big fan of it. It is more memorable than The Wretched Spawn, in my opinion, but I'm still not a big fan of it. I think it's the vocals. I don't know. I like Corpse Grinder's vocals a bit. It's whereas this is kind of I don't know. It doesn't gel well with me, and I think Chris Barnes does a much better job on Tomb of the Mutilated, the very first album, and The Bleeding. I think he does a much better job on those three albums. On this album, I find it hard to hear what the hell's going on, but there is more standout tracks on this one. Meat Hook Sodomy, Gutted. Oh, the title track. So many good ones on this one. It's just I wish I could hear a bit more of what's going on. And I know that's not really a big complaint for a lot of death metal, because, you're supposed to kind of be like, what the fuck is he saying? But on this one, I really don't know what the fuck he's saying. I like it when I can hear what they're, talking about, smashing someone's head in with a hammer, and, the brains are, blowing up, and then there's, high velocity impact splatter, shit like that, Whereas in this one, I'm kind of like, what did he say? What did he say? Controversial pick, I know, but it's my list. That's where it's going to go. Next up, Gore Obsessed. Really love the cover of this one. And this has a lot better songs on, in my opinion. A lot better songs on. And I really, from here on out, I start to love them. Those two are fine. I'll put them on. They're okay. From here on out, I really like these albums. And Gore Obsessed is one of them. Hot shit to the head. Pit of Zombies, come on, Pit of Zombies is amazing. One of the best Cannibal Corpse songs. I just love it. I love it. Pit of Zombies is a beautiful song. Consume this pit, my doom. Yeah, too good, this song. This album is fantastic, underrated, and one of the best. Next up, one of the later ones, A Skeletal Domain. This one has just some really fun songs on. Like I sung before, High Velocity Impact Splatter. Just the way he says it, and just the title of that, High Velocity Impact Splatter. Come on. Absolutely just brings a smile to your face when you hear him sing that chorus. And don't get me started on Kill or Become, a song about zombies. Fire up the chainsaw! God, come on. Fire up the chainsaw, Kill or Become. Oh, too many great songs, great catchy choruses on Skeleton Domain. People have this last. Nah. This is great. This is a fantastic album, and I love it. And I think it's slightly better than the others that I mentioned, but hey, if you like Butchered at Birth, that's good for you. Next up, we have the debut, Eaten Back to Life. This one's a lot thrashier. His vocals are more pronounced on this one, I think. So it stands out from the rest of the pack, and I think it's an amazing debut. It is a lot more thrash than death compared to a lot of the other albums, but still, it's refreshing. It's a refreshing album, and it's kind of underrated. People talk about Tomb, Butchered at Birth, stuff like that, but the debut is fantastic as well. and people overlook it. But it is a great, I mean, scattered remains, splattered brains, come on, who comes up with this stuff? Amazing, amazing album. Next up, Torture, a creepy cover, like a guy about to torture you. This album has the song Scourge of Iron on, which is just the most monolithic song ever created. That doom 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 is like the most headbangable Cannibal Corpse song ever, and when they play it live, it's just the best. But aside from that, it still has amazing other songs as well. Encased in Concrete, Demented Aggression. There's a lot of good, great songs on this album. It is one of the best Cannibal Corpse albums in my opinion, but there are a couple others that I prefer, so it's gonna go slap bang kind of in the middle of the list. Next up, one of the latest ones, Red Before Black. Red Before Black, that song just... The entire intro of this album is all killer, no filler. Only One Will Die, Code of the Slashers, it just hit after hit. So many good songs in the space of a short amount of time. It kind of falls off a bit, but there's still fantastic songs later on as well, like Heads Shoveled Off, come on. Amazing titles again, and Firestorm Vengeance is awesome. So it does have some amazing standout songs on, so I really fondly remember this one. Driving in my car, playing Red Before Black, or Only One Will Die, just like speeding, because it is one of those kind of bands. And it's fun. It's great fun. Love this album. Next up, Vile. This is a Vile album. I love it. I love like almost all the songs on this album, so from here on out they're like masterpieces. And just, come on, Devoured by Vermin. It's just so like sickly. I love it. Puncture Wound Massacre, Mummified in Barbed Wire. These song titles, these song lyrics, the songs themselves are all 10 out of 10s. Love Vile. It is one of the best albums by Cannibal Corpse. Next up, Bloodthirst. You're probably thinking like, his list is completely fucking random. Like, there's some bad albums at front, there's some great albums at the bottom of the list. What the fuck is he smoking? But I don't care. This is what I like. I love Bloodthirst. I love all the songs on Bloodthirst. I love the art as well. I don't even know what's happening. It's like a necromorph from Dead Space. Getting busy, but I love some of these songs. Pounded into Dust. Come on. That song is killer. Dead Human Collection. Unleashing the Bloodthirsty. Again, all like killer front of this album. Killer front. But then you have like Blowtorch Slaughter and stuff like that, and it's still... Yeah, this album is great. It's really hard to rank Cannibal Corpse albums because I like all of them. I do, I like all of them. And this is just one that I like more than the others that I've said, and that's how lists go, and that's where it's going on mine. Next up, Tomb of the Mutilated. I know this is a classic, usually ones for a lot of people. For me, it's amazing, but it's a little far down. I do prefer some other albums more than it, and one will trigger. They'll be like, why the hell is that higher than this? But this is a classic. It's the one people say is one of the best, and rightfully so. I mean, it has Hammer Smashed Face on, which is one of the classics. So the track listing is killing, the tracks themselves are killer, the album art is like the best Cannibal Corpse album art like ever. I mean, come on, it is. This album is fantastic from start to finish, but I just prefer a couple others. And yeah, it is a bona fide classic, one of the greatest death metal albums of all time, blah blah blah. I think there are better albums than it, and we'll talk about them now. So number 4, Gallery of Suicide. Loads of people say this is the worst. I don't know why. Is it the same people that don't like South of Heaven? Because it's a bit slower, it's a bit doomier, it's a bit drearier? Because this album is a lot more methodical, a lot more slow, but I love it. I love this album. This is a 10 out of 10 for me, Cannibal Corpse wise. Like, when you start off with, I will kill you, you know you got a banger on your hands. You know you do. Blood-drenched execution. Oh, the title track. Like, I can see the similarities to, like, South of Heaven and stuff. Like, Gallery of Suicide is just so otherworldly. I love how slow that song is, how creepy it is. This album is great. One of my favourites by Cannibal Corpse. People might not like that, but no one likes the same stuff anyway, and no one will have the same opinion, so... Next up, Kill. A fantastic, amazing album. by Corpse Grinder. And, I mean, you've heard the songs, Make Them Suffer, just 5 nails through the neck, Death Walking Terror, just so many good songs on this album. It's brutal from start to finish, it's intense from start to finish, it's a classic. I love it, and it's a classic, that's why it's number 3. Next up, my second favourite album by Cannibal Corpse, Aeration Plague. Just like Kill, it's amazing from start to finish. I don't think it's quite as brutal, but it is amazing. Scalding Hail, To Decompose, Priest of Sodom, come on. You Pray for Death, Evisceration Plague, the title track, fantastic. One of the best Cannibal Corpse albums, easily one of my favourites, but it's not my absolute number 1. And we'll get to that right now. So my favourite Cannibal Corpse album of all time is The Bleeding. It's a Chris Barnes album. I generally prefer Corpse Grinder. Not gonna lie. Because I can hear him more. But this album's a masterpiece. This album is so much better than 2 Million Laid, so much better than Butchered at Birth, so much better than those ones people say are classic. Fuck them. This album is the best. This album is just... it's magical. It's something else. The songs are not just like heavy and brutal, they're actually catchy as fuck. Stripped, Raped and Strangled is probably one of my favourite metal songs of all time. That melody. Holy shit. Fucked with a Knife. Holy shit. That's a fun song. Pulverized. Force-fed Broken Glass. Too many good songs on this album. It's a masterpiece. 10 out of 10. One of the best albums of all time. And I stand by that. It is. It's better than all the others I just mentioned. In my opinion. But my opinion's law on this channel. So that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the list. Hopefully, you know, all these albums are good. So check all of them out. But I'd say start with The Bleeding because it's too good. So let me know in the comments below your favourite Cannibal Corpse album, Cannibal Corpse song, and your least favourite. Least favourite album, least favourite song. Because it's always fun to see what people hate as well. And I don't hate any of these. I don't hate any of them. The last 2 are just kind of there. I don't hate them. They're fine. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below, and we'll see you again on another Quest for Metal.